Now, I just want to talk a bit about the feminist belief in patriarchy. The justification for the almost total destruction of manhood and fatherhood is the feminist belief in patriarchy. Their belief in patriarchy underpins their destruction of marriage and masculinity and everything which props up fatherhood. Because ultimately, it is only by destroying fatherhood that patriarchy can really be overthrown. The feminists describe patriarchy in a range of ways. So we have patriarchy is a society controlled by men in which they use power to their own advantage, or a social system in which power is held by men through cultural norms and customs that favour men and withhold opportunity from women, or a system of social structures and practices in which men dominate, oppress and exploit women. These are all feminist descriptions of patriarchy. However, they do not bear a relationship to actual patriarchy. Rather, they are used by feminists as justifications for expunging patriarchy from public life. This feminist definition of patriarchy has legitimised the rendering asunder of our society in the most profoundly destructive and detrimental ways. Because patriarchy is understood as something evil, every single one of our traditional legal, social or cultural institutions, which emerged out of an essentially Christian heritage, has been ripped apart and replaced by an institution which is born of a secular feminist faith. So, for example, the idea of chastity before marriage has been replaced by complete sexual incontinence. Marriage has been replaced by cohabitation and what Isabel Sawhill calls the family merry-go-round. The gendered division of labour has been replaced by totally interchangeable roles. The male as provider has been rendered invisible as provisioning is now mediated by the state. Children no longer belong to parents but are the wards of state. The concern for the family has been replaced by a concern for the individual. And the father as head of the family has been replaced by father as optional extra. And all of this was done because feminists believed society was patriarchal, and anything which had the mark of patriarchy or shored it up in any way had to be totally and utterly destroyed. However, the problem does not lie with the feminist belief in patriarchy. The problem lies in the fact that feminists got their understanding of patriarchy completely and utterly wrong. Because, as I am going to show, real patriarchy, healthy and ideal patriarchy, coexists with essential equality. It works in the interests of everybody, and it is essentially a very good thing. However, the feminist version of patriarchy has never been challenged. In fact, in our constant denial of the existence of patriarchy, we have colluded with the feminist definition of patriarchy. The feminist version of patriarchy has never been questioned, only confirmed. And this is very serious because it is this feminist definition of patriarchy which has justified all the damage committed by feminists. So what I want to argue is that it is not the existence of patriarchy which should be challenged. It is the definition and interpretation of patriarchy which feminists have used. To a social anthropologist such as myself, patriarchy simply alludes to the social structure, the hierarchical organisation of society where men are more likely to be in public positions of power. But anthropologists who have studied a wide range of societies know that having men in public positions of power is simply theatre. It doesn't actually say much about where real power lies. And we can see the hidden social archaeology of patriarchy in our own society, in the tendency towards male politicians, or the fact that most board members of companies are men, or that men are more likely to be present in the higher echelons of the church. All this is patriarchy. In this sense, the feminists are right. However, none of this oppresses and subordinates women. And as I want to show you, patriarchy, properly understood, is a very good thing.